In previous programs, we have shown you places that need no introduction. From now on, we are going to surprise you. In the northern Kazakhstan, we will see the Sandıktau mountains. Not all travelers know about these places. It seems we got lost. In truth, we are lost. There is nobody. Andrei. In the west, we are going to visit Kazakh city named after the Ukrainian poet and artist Taras Shevchenko. Here we have ruins of the 19th century, seaport and a museum full of rare exhibits. The Sandıktau Granite Mountains are located in Sandıktau district of Akmola region. The Sandıktau Mountains stretch from southwest to northeast for 34 kilometers, reaching their greatest width of 14 kilometers in the central part of the village of Sandıktau and to the southwest. The administrative center of the district and a place where you can always stay for the night is the village of Balkashino, located to the west of the mountain range. On the slopes of the Kartuz Mount, you can find delicious treats such as strawberries, cherries, forest raspberries, and many more. I noticed a blooming onion on the way. Have you ever seen a blooming onion in your life? It turns out I've never seen it before either. Of course, it's beautiful, but since this is still an onion, I want to taste it. Dima, will you try? Okay, I'll try then.
Здесь можно питаться.
Here you can eat. You can even take something with you. You can gather it. What else is there? Strawberries are so small, red, but they have a lot of iron. They are very useful. A little more strawberries. There are milk mushrooms. There are boletus, aspen mushrooms, porcini mushrooms. Won't a man die of hunger? Not here, if he understands the nature well. I learned that bears lived on the slopes of the Sandıktau Mount, but at the beginning of the 20th century, the last of them was killed. And now there are hares, foxes, lynxes, squirrels, and also, according to the terrible information that I was told, wolves. So if we are done filming, let's leave as soon as possible. Can anyone attack a human here? Well, probably a lynx can. Sometimes they come here, mostly in winter. And so basically, these are foxes, they're everywhere. Squirrels, they generally jump, but they jump mainly near the village, because they can find something to eat there. There are a lot of hares. Can I see them? You can. During the training we see foxes, hares and squirrels. Also we have roe deer. Roe deer. The roe deer are beautiful. Males with antlers, fluffy, brown spotted. Alexander turned out to be a fine connoisseur of his native places. We got to the Kartuz Hill unnoticed. By the way, the name of the hill was invented by the locals because of the mountain's resemblance to a headdress. We pass along the traverse and come out to the place of the rock. This rock once fell off the main mount and fell down. You see, this is Kartuz. I want to offer my viewers a challenge to pass through a narrow mountain gorge. Try it! We were told that 100 species of birds live in this region. I will not talk about all 100 of them, but one bird got into the lens of our camera. I don't know if it's an eagle or a hawk, but it soars beautifully. I'm waiting for your opinions in the comments to the program.
Сандықтауға туристерді не тартады? Ол бірінші кезекте тұмса табиғат, керемет.
What attracts tourists to the Sandıktau Mountains? First, of course, the pristine nature, clean air. Now there are few tourists here, so you can go for a walk in the forest or hiking in the mountains. In general, it is just wonderful here.
Sandıktauский район.
Sandıktau region has a very high tourist potential because it is located in interesting geographical and climatic conditions. It snows very early, in October. That is, our skiers do not need to go to the training camp in Finland, we can ski here for free. For example, Murmansk, beyond the Arctic Circle, holds last skiing competitions on March the 25th. What a summer vacation without water! The largest local river is the Jabai, a tributary of the Ishim. Alexander says that as a child he drank water from it and now he's afraid to swim. How did it happen? This river has been heavily clogged in the last 20 years. For a long time I tried to ask for budget money to make sluices, because they constantly make a dam. But the spring floods washes it away and it all again settles at the bottom. And the bottom rises, it gets littered. If you clean it, it will be a cool place. No worse than Zerenda and Burabai. Hiking in the mountains in Sandıktağ is unique in that you can safely go out after lunch and slowly walk to the top. The highest point here is the Sandıktağ mountain, 626 meters high. Have tourists ever got lost here? It is very difficult to get lost here because these forests don't look like a taiga stretching for many kilometers. They are crossed by some forest roads. There are plots. Therefore, you can always get out of this forest even if you don't know it. You can go in any direction and you will go either on the road or in some river or on the plot. You will hear this sound there. Now we are standing 3 kilometers. We hear the sound of cars. That is, it's not dangerous. We seem to be lost because there is no one around. In truth, we are lost. There is nobody. Andrei. Fortunately, we quickly found the way out and the lynx did not eat us. Out of fear, I even called Alexander Andrei. I need to refresh myself. For this purpose, I have chosen the Militia Spring. Sandıktağ abounds in springs. People come here to collect tasty and healthy water, relax after a hard day, and admire the spring mini waterfall. But there is one special among the springs of Sandıktağ. The Militia Spring was nicknamed so because the law enforcement officials often came here to rest. Actually, now there is no concept of the militia. Now we have the police. Therefore, I advise you to change the name of the spring. I hope you recorded it. I will definitely come later to check. I was told that the water in the spring is clean and worth a try. I wonder if it is true. Let's see. Delicious. There is not much information about water bodies and attractions near Balkashino. Tourist guides mention Lake Kudymkol, the Kabani spring, which does not freeze even in winter, the Zinoveevka and Novonikolsk forest ponds. I did not have time to visit all the natural monuments of these places, but I highly recommend it to you. The Militia Spring fascinated me. At this very moment, I want to remind you about our competition. With the hashtag across the Kazakh Land, post your photos near the Militia Spring on the social network and become the winner of our wonderful gifts. Sandıktağ is a pearl not yet discovered by tourists. Here is a fertile land and friendly people. It is necessary to show this place to Adilat. He will definitely like it. Thank you for the recommendation. I also have something to show. I am in the city of Fort Shevchenko, located on the Mangyshlak Peninsula. The city was founded in 1846, although people have lived in this area since the 8th century. Novopetrov Fortification, Fort Alexander, Fort Shevchenko. These are the 3 names of this city. In the 60s, 30,000 people lived here. Now the population is approximately 6,000. Let's take a quick city tour. I was shown 2 significant places. The first place is associated with the largest military events that took place in the Caspian in the 19th, 20th centuries. These are the ruins of a fortress from Tsarist times, 1846. A stone notch and an outer rampart protected the fortress from enemy raids. Now this is just history. The city of Fort Shevchenko was built as a Novopetrov fortification from the local shell rock from the Russian forest, brought here through the Caspian Sea from Astrakhan. In the center was the commandant's winter house. Behind the house, there was a gymnasium where the children of officers studied, barracks, houses of officers. There was a wooden church on the hill, Flagstaff, where exiled soldier Taras Grigorievich Shevchenko was on guard duty. Now there are only ruins of the walls of the commandant's house. The place of the Flagstaff has been preserved. According to the archives, the circumference of the fortification was 620 fathoms, or more than 1,300 meters. The fortress survived the siege of the Adai tribe in 1870 and a naval battle between the ships of the Rad and Anglo-White Guard flotillas in 1919. Eyewitnesses wrote that the fort was a rather impressive sight, but little of our contemporaries inspires respect. This is primarily a historical monument. Unfortunately, tourists coming here write their names. Dear friends, let's preserve the historical monuments. I beg you. The second important place for the city is the port of Bautino. The port is located 4 kilometers northwest of Fort Shevchenko. Nearby is the village of Bautino, founded in the middle of the 19th century as a fishing village. Behind me is the seaport of Bautino. Previously, fishing flourished here and there was a fish factory. In the famous film, Ivan Vasilievich changes his profession, the Tsar ate a sprat made here. Now there is no fish factory and the port works for the needs of the oil industry. The famous Bautino factory stopped working in the 90s. But the enterprise produced up to 44,000 tons of fish per year and employed more than 500 people. For comparison, now officially only 70 people fish in the sea. There are plans to build a new fish processing plant. Investors, Caspian sprat is waiting for you. But the most important attraction of the city is the Taras Shevchenko Museum. I couldn't miss this. The museum was opened in 1932 in the building of the 19th century, the summer residence of the Commandant Tuskov. The Museum of Ethnography was named in honor of Taras Shevchenko, who was exiled here by the Tsarist authorities. The museum is a small trip not only to the poet's homeland, to Ukraine, but also a trip to Kazakhstan in the 19th century. Here we understand Taras Shevchenko made a great contribution as an ethnographer. Taras Shevchenko took part in the Karatau expedition. During the 2 years of the expedition, Taras Shevchenko made 140 sketches dedicated to the Kazakh people and their traditions. Let's see them. By the way, for what purpose was the Karatau expedition organized?
Сол кезде Маңғыстау байлығы, сол кезден-ақ Маңғыстау байлығы көзге түсіп, Маңғыстау байлығын зерттеу мақсатында.
The expedition was organized in 1851 with the aim of exploring the wealth of the Mangistau land and to determine the stock of black coal in the town of Taushek. This expedition was headed by the Russian mining engineer Antipov. With the help of Bronislav Zaleski, Taras Shevchenko became a member of this expedition. Most importantly, was it necessary to determine the reserves of black coal? Yes, the expedition was organized to determine the stock of black coal. Shevchenko became an ethnographer by the will of circumstances. In a 10-year exile, far from his homeland, he was forbidden to engage in the main passion of his life, poetry and painting. It was thanks to his friends from the art world that Taras Shevchenko, at a young age, was able to escape from the oppression. Coming here, you constantly hear the Ukrainian surname Shevchenko. Taras Shevchenko is a poet, writer and artist. Few people know that Taras was a serf, so there is little information about him. Famous painter Karl Brulov donated his portrait of Russian poet Vasily Zhukovsky as an auction prize. Its proceeds were used to buy Shevchenko's freedom. Taras Shevchenko, or as he is called Kobza, was born in Kiev province. The wall of Chumak universities tells about the poet's childhood. Who are the Chumaks?
Чумактар деп, сол кезде крикештер қазақшаға аударғанда
Chumaks are ox cart drivers. At that time, they transported salt from Crimea to Ukraine. This picture depicts the life of the Chumacs, how they transported salt, sold, and fed their families with the proceeds. In front of you is a special exhibit of our museum, the Chumak cart. Taras Shevchenko and his father Grigory transported salt from Crimea to Ukraine several times on such a Chumak cart, thus helping his relatives.
Өздерінің жаңағы тумаластарын асыраған.
It took a long time to collect the exhibits for the museum. The museum staff walked through the ruins of the fortress and found antiques there, which were restored. Shevchenko's legacy is enormous. Despite the bans, Shevchenko made 356 paintings and wrote more than 106 poems over 10 years in Kazakhstan. Not all officers allowed this, so he had to use some tricks.
Обратите внимание на захалявную книжку.
Pay attention to the bootleg booklet. Taras Shevchenko, being an exiled soldier, was then prohibited from writing and drawing. And he was forced to write his works in such a booklet. That is, when the Tsar's officers searched him, this booklet was hidden in a side pocket or in the bootleg.
Поэтому называется захалявно.
The Kazakh Shevchenko expert Yezbol Omerbayev has done a lot of work on studying the heritage of the artist and poet. In co-authorship with the Ukrainian writer Anatoly Kostenko, he published the book Steppe Will Revive and also renewed the map route of the Karatau expedition.
Шевченко танушы Қазақстан бойынша ол Есбол Өмербаев, жергілікті ұстаз, өлкетанушы, көп жылдар бойы Шевченко.
Local teacher, ethnographer. For many years, he taught Russian language and literature at the Shevchenko school. At school, he arranged the club on Shevchenko studies for students to better know the life and work of Taras Grigorievich Shevchenko. Showing even greater interest, he went on an expedition several times. Yezbol Omerbayev is considered the person who gave a second life to Shevchenko's paintings and works in Kazakhstan. Thanks to this man, several expeditions were organized. In the Karatau and Ural expeditions, all the paintings of that period were investigated.
Бірнеше экспедиция ұйымдастырылып, жаңағы Қаратау экспедициясына, Арал экспедициясына сол кездегі суреттердің барлығы сол кісінің арқасында зерттелген.
I was sitting in the same dugout where Taras Shevchenko once sat and thought how great it is that there are people who have preserved all this so that we, travelers of the 21st century, can touch history. Today I was lucky with the destinations. Let's find out what is Akzer's catch. This time I have a vegetable catch. Today I will try myself in the role of a zealous woman who thoroughly prepares for the winter. But first, let's experience calm village life. The settlement was founded as a Cossack village. The houses still feature the signs of antiquity, wooden huts, ornate plaid-bands on the windows. First of all, together with Marina, the owner of a wonderful house, I went to inspect the garden. We have everything here: tomatoes, cucumbers, carrots, cabbage and raspberries. Marina taught me the secret of a good tomato harvest. You need to remove the tops of the bushes and extra shoots. This will accelerate the ripening of the fruit and protect against diseases. And also, for the first time, I tried legumes which I had previously seen only in cans. Cut with your thumbnail. What is this? Is that real peas? Can I eat it? Such ordinary peas, like in cans. Today I ate onions in the mountains and peas in the garden. And now it's time to go into the house and get ready for the winter. Marina will help me, or I will help her. First, we will marinate cucumbers and tomatoes.
Берем огурцы, отрезайте.
Well, we take cucumbers, cut them off, and cut them like this. Put such parts in the can. They should be put like this.
Так, стояли.
Кеше ғана майда қиярлардан осылай банка жатқан екен. Қазір мен жаңа ғана
I tried the cucumbers. They turned out to be bitter. According to the hostess of the house, the cucumbers canned yesterday were sweeter and today's bitter ones because they remained in the rain. This is also work that requires a lot of effort.
бұл да бір еңбекті талап ететін жұмыс екен.
Сыпем соль, сахар.
Sprinkle salt, sugar, then pour boiling water a second time. Add a spoonful of vinegar, acetyl, and roll it up. Everything is ready. Is that all? And for how long do we leave it? When can you eat them? I marinated a week ago. My son has already eaten 1 can of vegetables. Oh, really?
Так переворачиваем, ничего не бежит, все везде сухо.
Turn them over like this. Nothing runs, everything is dry. And so we wrap them up in something warm. And that's it. Tomorrow we'll take it out in the morning and go to the cellar.
Все, утром вытаскиваем в погреб. Все готово.
Міне біз енді екі адамның күшімен
Well, by mutual forces with the help of Marina, we marinated cucumbers. I think it worked out well for the first time. The cucumbers are ready. You can eat them in 2-3 days or better in a week.
кейін тіпті бір аптадан кейін ғана жеуге болады екен.
We had a cherry which we bought on the way from Balkashino to Sandiktau. Finally, I asked Marina to show me how jam is made. The cherries turned out to be terribly sour. You will need to put more sugar. First of all, we rinse the berries and remove the debris.
Профессионалдық тұрғыда осындай.
I will probably quit journalism and professionally deal with canning and jam making.
Кәсібіне кетем, журналистиканы тастайтын сияқтымын. Можете рассказать вообще, кто вам...
Can you tell me who taught you all this? Where is it from? For example, there are housewives who do not want to do this. Do you like it yourself?
Домохозяйки, которые не хотят этого делать. Вам самой это нравится?
Мне, да, интересно это все.
Yes, it's all interesting to me. Well, my mother taught me. Her mother taught her. This is how it goes with us. She did, I watched, so I learned everything. I do it for my family. I like it.
Мне это нравится.
А есть люди, которые покупают ваше варенье?
Are there people who buy your jam or cucumbers?
Да.
Yes. Is it mainly your neighbors?
Нет, не только у меня варенье.
I sell not only jams, but also poultry. I grow them and sell.
Птицу?
И гусей, бройлеров, уток. Все. Выращиваю, заказывают, звонят.
We cleaned the cherry, added sugar 1:1. We add 5 liters of cherries, the same amount of sugar is needed. Then we wait, the berry should give juice. After that, boil twice, first for 10 minutes, then cool and cook for another 5 minutes. Do not forget to remove the foam. This is how I made jam for the first time in my life. Everything is ready. Thank you. Bon appétit to you. Thanks for the help. Here I felt like a real mistress. As they say, rarely but aptly. It seems that everything worked out. If the cans do not explode, we can assume that I succeeded. That's all for today. I managed to give you a short tour of the city of Fort Shevchenko. We visited the ruins of the 19th century fortress, admired the port of Bautino from afar, and spent time with benefit studying the life of Taras Shevchenko in the Museum of Ethnography. What did I learn today? I walked along the Sandiktau mountains, ate mountain onions, and tasted the water in the Militia spring. I will also remember Sandiktau for wonderful Marina, who taught me how to salt cucumbers and make jam. Watch the next programs of Across the Kazakh Land very soon.